Hi, this is section 8.1. What we're going to talk about in this example, there's actually two examples here, is similar to the homework problems number 7 through 9. This is labeled number 9 and the one below is labeled number 10. They're out of order because I took a couple problems out due to the things that have happened this semester. So anyway, I'll go ahead and go through it here. The two things we need to know, we need to use for this, I'm just going to kind of show you so you have them handy in case you want to pause, is you're going to need this sheet, okay? And the reason why we need this sheet, and it got folded there because my dog got a hold of it here, is we have to use a p-value method. We're going to actually use this information right here to decide whether we reject it or not. That's going to be the first part. And then to come up with the conclusion, there's another document you want to look at. This was from the homework. I'm sorry, it's from the PowerPoint. If you bought from the bookstore, is chapter 8, the bottom of page 10. So that will help me decide this bottom part. So you want to have those two things handy when you do the homework, pretty much for almost every problem that comes up here. Okay. So for this one, it says the original claim is that the mean pulse rates of a certain group of adults is 73 beats per minute. So this is actually my claim. That's actually your step one anyway. I'm just going to write that down here. So the beats per minute of a certain groups of males. Oh, it says mean. Okay, mean would be mu, not p. Is equal to 73 beats per minute. Okay, so that's my claim. Okay, we need that for down here. We're not going to go through the other two steps here, but that's just what we have. Okay, they went through the whole test. You'll do a couple of these in the next section here. And they got the p-value of 0.0837, which I wrote right here. And it's with a 0.05 significance level. So if I look at the p-value, it's greater than the significance level. So right here, if the p-value is less than or equal to alpha, you reject. In this case, it's greater than, so I'm going to fail to reject the null. So I'll just kind of underline that. So that's where the fail to reject comes from, because the p-value right here is greater than alpha. Okay, now we're going to go to this part. So I'm going to pause and and then move this up and get the document ready for that. Okay, now the second part has to do with the conclusion. So you want to have this with you, and I would probably have it with you pretty much for every homework. I would have this with me along with this as you do all the homework problems for the rest of chapter 8 in all honesty, because starting next section you actually go through all the steps, including this part. This part is this part right here. So when it says restate the decision, that refers to this part right here. This kind of makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so the first thing it asks is, does the original claim have an equal sign, which is these two, or does not have an equal sign? If I look at my original claim, it does have an equal sign. Okay, so that means I'm going to use one of these two. The original claim has an equal sign. Okay, so these both have an equal sign. These are something other than equal, so it'd be either not equal to, less than, or greater than. Okay, and then we have decided, do we reject the null or not? We fail to reject. So it has equal sign. We failed to reject. So what that means is there's not sufficient evidence to warrant rejection of the claim, of the original claim. So if you kind of look down here, it should start by saying there's not sufficient evidence to warrant rejection. And that's this part right here. So what that's really is basically telling you is this ends up being the null, and you can't reject it. You can't, but back here you failed to reject it. That just means you can't say it's wrong. That's what that part's saying. Okay, so that's the first problem. Okay, now we're going to look at this one. This is on the bottom of the page. It says right here, the claim is the standard deviation of a certain group of people is greater than 10. So the standard deviation, I have a mu there. It should be standard deviation, so it should be sigma, is greater than 18. So let me just change that. I didn't read it carefully. The standard deviation is more than 18 beats per minute. Okay, they gave me the p-value, which your calculator will spit out for you in the future, and they give you alpha. In this case, it's bigger again. So whenever it's bigger, you're going to fail to reject the null. So whenever the p-value is greater than alpha, you're going to fail to reject the null. That's that part. And then the final conclusion, let's go over that part, this part down here. Okay, so first of all, the claim does not have an equal sign. So that would be one of these. The original claim does not have an equal sign. Okay. And then it's whether you reject or fail to reject. For our example, just a second ago, we did fail to reject. So the wording should say something roughly like, there's not sufficient evidence to support the claim. They could say there's insufficient or something of that sort, but there's not enough evidence to support the claim. So if you kind of look down this here, that's what the one that picked. There's not sufficient evidence to support the claim. Okay, kind of going back to a little bit behind this, if you're curious. If not, you can just pause and stop the video right here. But this is my null. This is my alternative. What we did was we failed to reject this, which means we can't prove this to be true. And that's what this is pretty much saying. We failed to reject the null, so we can't prove the alternative to be true. So we're just pretty much saying that there. I want to say one more thing. We are skipping this type 1, type 2 error this semester because of everything going on this semester, but I will probably add it in when I get back to regular face-to-face classes. But I decided to take this out of the homework, so you can just skip this if you have this homework example in front of you. And I took it out of the homework, the quiz, and the test for this semester. Spring of 2020, sorry.